Hi guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. Today I thought I would share with you my 2019 reading journal as well as set up my annual spreads in my new 2020 journal. So I mentioned in one of my reading vlogs that I am starting a bullet journal for the first time, and so I thought that I would share with you what I used this past year since starting my booktube channel, just to kind of keep track of things and all of that. So this is the notebook that I used in 2019. It's a notebook I got from TJ Maxx or Marshalls for like $3 or $4, and it's a full-size lined notebook. And I made a list of kind of ideas for videos, and then I went and I started in July. This was the first month that I did it, and this is kind of the typical setup that I would have, where I would just kind of make a box of videos that I wanted to film, and then I would fill them in as I filmed them. Books I wanted to read, I would fill them in as I read them. And then this month I just wrote down readathons that I was planning on doing. So I did middle grade magic and the reading rush in July. I also then did a special block just for my middle grade magic TBR and my reading rush TBR. I put the dates it was going to happen, and then I just marked off the, this one I wrote down the prompt and then the book I read, and you'll see I changed this quite a few times, which book I ended up reading for that. And same with this, a book with purple on the cover, and then I wrote down what book I was planning on reading, and I filled them in as I went. I made a list for my summer TBR, same thing. And you'll see it's very basic. This is where I put my books read. I put the number of books that I ended up reading that month at the top, and then my star ratings. It's just star ratings, title, author. That's all I keep track of, because everything else I keep track of on Goodreads, so it really doesn't matter. This was my Betsy Tacy read-along schedule, and you'll see that after Betsy and Joe, I ended up not finishing, and I don't think I plan on finishing the Betsy Tacy series. I just kind of fizzled out, and I lost interest in it. So that was July. June, same thing. This was my July. This was still in July. Because I didn't do a page for June, I wrote down my content that I needed to film for July. That was June content. So my June wrap up and my June, my growing TBR list. And then this was the only month that I did a month calendar, and I wrote down which books I wanted to read each day and how much I wanted to read each day. And this did not work for me at all. I fell way behind. I didn't stay on track, and it was actually kind of disheartening. So I never did this again, and I probably never will, because I didn't need to. So, and then we move on to August, and same thing, videos to film, books to read. And then here's my books read in August. And then this page I did just randomly. I put it in with August. And this is my book to movie adaptations, books, and I fill out when I've read the book and then when I've watched the movie. I fill it in, and X means a DNF, or I started it and I didn't want to finish it. So, and this is a list of books that I know are out that I'm interested in reading that also have a movie adaptation to it. This was nothing. This was a project I thought about doing, and I ended up not doing it. And my top 5 summer reads I just wrote down really quick. And then my fall TBR, you'll see I ended up crossing out all the Betsy Tacy series because I ended up not finishing it. This was a failed page. September, videos to film, books to read, books read in September. I don't know why I didn't write the number of books that I read, but whatever. August, my growing TBR. I don't know why I put that in September, but whatever. I don't know, but that's where it's at. And this was the first time I did a stats page. So at this point, I started tracking my stats. So I track the format, the age category, my rating, the genre. This is there's so many genres, and I had such a hard time coming up with a system that worked for me. The hardest one for me is figuring out what to put under contemporary and what just to put under general fiction. I have a really hard time deciphering between those two. So I don't know. This isn't always super accurate, but I like to keep track just for my own sake. The source, so if I got it from the library or if it's an owned one, and if it was a graphic book. So my graphic novels, I don't put those as a genre, because graphic novels can be contemporary or nonfiction or sci-fi or thriller, whatever. So same as with the age category, it's just a type of book. And so I try to keep track of how many graphic novels I read throughout the month. I have my September, my growing TBR. And then October is when I started doodling more and like trying to, I don't know, like working with my writing and that kind of stuff. So, videos to film, my October TBR, which was very long, and I read a lot of those books. And then I start doodling. So, this was my Gilmore Girls readathon spread, whatever. And I just did some little Gilmore Girls in Omnia Paratus, where you lead, I will follow, that sort of thing. And my Spookathon, same thing. I just kind of doodled a little bit. I really like the spider web. I thought that turned out cute. But yeah, and then I would put the prompt and then the book that I ended up reading to fulfill the prompt. My October growing TBR, my October reading log, I included my DNFs down here. This month, for some reason, I just wrote the number of star rating, but whatever. That was the book. That was the month I read 20 books in a month, which was just crazy. And then my October stats. Yeah, so same thing. I just used the exact same stuff I did with my previous one. And then November, videos to film, my TBR, which, as you can see, did not go as well as October's did, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. My believe in the Impossible Readathon. Technically, I think I might have filled this prompt at least, but that's okay. I ended up, these are extra books, middle grade books that I read that didn't really fit into a prompt, or they were like a double up of a prompt. My nonfiction November TBR, which, as you can see, was a complete fail. I did read the 2 graphic novels, and that was it. My buzzword readathon TBR, I actually did pretty well with that one. And so yeah, so there's that. And then my November, my growing TBR, and then reading log. And I also put my DNFs on this page. November reading stats. This one I was really proud of because my source was really even, and I had a lot of really high rated books in November. And then we have my December title page with my videos to film and my TBR. And this is my winter TBR, and it looks like this I love, this I hate. So, you know, whatever. Book Buddy-a-thon I'm planning on doing, so I went ahead and put that in. I did really well, like doodling and everything, and then I went to write the stuff in, and I was over it, so I just kind of wrote it in and didn't care, and it kind of looks junky, but that's okay. I really like the way this turned out in the sleigh, so. And then we have the first time that I worked with stickers and washi tape, and this is my December reading log and December growing TBR. And I just kind of found these stickers in a box of Christmas stuff and decided I'd use them. And I have not put together my December stats page yet. So that's all I have in this notebook. So that's my 2019 flip through of my reading journal. And then starting in 2020, I'm moving to a bullet journal. Now this is quite a bit smaller, you can see, from what I'm used to. This was my old one, this is my new one. And I was really concerned about that early on, but since sketching in it a little bit, I feel like I can make it work. I'm just gonna go with it for now, and if it proves to be a problem, I'll just order a new bullet journal. We'll see what works, or maybe I'll go back to using this again, I don't know. But we're gonna go with this. So as far as materials and what I use, I have my pencil and my eraser that I sketch with. One of the things I've noticed is that I have a heavy hand with my pencil, and so I don't know how to lighten that up. I also have these Bic Gelocity gel pens that I have quite a bit of. I keep all of my stuff in this makeup case, so that's okay. I have whiteout, I have a bunch of flare pens. I have these these are brush pens. They're smaller brush pens. I also picked up the Uniball Signo gel pens. I have a white, a gold, and a silver in these. I have these are dual tip. They have like a fine liner on one end and a brush tip on the other end, and I have a whole case of these. I got them from Amazon quite a while ago, and they're kind of a mess. I use them to color with quite a bit, and now I'm just kind of using them for this. I also have these Mile liners that I got on clearance at Target, which I consider a win. These are ones that have a brush tip on one end and like a marker, not like a fine liner, but a marker on the other end. And they are in the pastel colors. And then I have a whole set of the Micron black pens in different widths. So I do have those as well. Let's see, what else do I have in here? The Flair pens are what I've used kind of primarily up to this point. Oh, I also have these Crayola, they're highlighters, but then they have like an eraser on the one end. That's what I ended up using on my October stats page in my old journal. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and I will show you what I have kind of set up for my annual spreads in my 2020 journal. So the first page that I'm going to be doing is my 2020 title page. And this page, all I have on here is a big 2020. I do use my pencils to like write out everything because I do not have good handwriting, and so I sketch out everything and I erase it quite a few times before I actually kind of finalize what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, so I'm just going to do this in black, and then my game plan is to every month have a theme, and I will do a doodle on this page every month of like a small doodle of the theme of the month. So by the end of the year, this page will be full of doodles of all my themes for the whole year. All right, so this next page, I took this idea from Sarah, from Sarah's Nightstand, and this is what I'm considering my future planning log. She had hers like on a flip, like she had Post-it notes and she would flip through it, but I'm putting on here, I have 6 months starting in February, so I didn't put January because January will be going in here first. But I have February through July on this page, and then on this next page, I'll have August through January of 2021. And this is where I'm going to write down like future things I have going on or future ideas that I have. So like if I'm planning on doing a buddy read in February, I'll put the book and who I want to buddy read it with. Middle grade March, I know is happening, so I would put that in March. July is reading rush, so that if I know I want to do like a specific book tag or content that I know I want to film in a specific month, I have a place to be able to put it, and then each month I can go back and look at it and see what I need to do for the month. So I'm just gonna write over these with one of my Micron pens and maybe add a little bit of color to it. next two pages are my 2020 goals and my 20 books that I want to read in 2020. So these will each have separate videos that will go up explaining what they are. So for my goals, I have certain goals that are like read X amount of books in, a specific genre or a specific series, things like that. And then I have goals that are just a general goal. So you'll see the ones that have a number quantity to them, I will have ticked off. I have them separated and I'll fill them in as I complete them throughout the year. The ones that are just general, I will probably leave empty. And as I get, through the year, like a quarter through the year, if I'm completing it and I feel like I'm doing a good job, I'll kind of fill it up. But that's how I'm going to do that. And I do have 7 goals. And then my 20 books that I'm going to read in 2020, I have a bookshelf that I've sketched out, and I will write the titles of all of the books that I have on this list. And as I read them, I will color them in. So you'll notice I started sketching out kind of doodles on them, and then I quit because I couldn't anymore with it. I just didn't care. So I'm going to outline all of this stuff, and yeah, we can go from there. So this is what I came up with. I'm happy with this for the time being. This will get better as I fill in some of this stuff, but for the time being, this is what we're going with. And then my final annual pages are my annual stats page and my buddy reads. I decided that I would like to keep track of my buddy reads, and so I have this broken. I'll have this broken up into 3 columns, and it'll be the title of the book, who I buddy read it with, and my rating. So, and I might actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I might add another column for date. So, like the dates read, title, who I read it with, and my star rating. And then over here for my stats page, this is pretty much exactly what was in my 2019 journal, and I'll have format, the source, library or owned, the age category. I'm going to track how many DNFs I have instead of my graphic novels. I'm going to track DNFs, genre, and rating. So I have all that. So I think I'm just going to outline most of this in black, and then we can kind of go from there. But yeah. Okay, that is it. I noticed after I started this that I didn't make it big enough, so I don't have a spot for 1 stars, but that's okay because I very rarely rate a book 1 star, so it may not even happen. So anyway, so starting here, we have my title page, which I will add doodles to, my future planning page. February through July, and then August through January of 2021. I have my 2020 goals, which I will add later, so as not to spoil you for that. Same with my 20 books that I want to read in 2020. I have my annual stats tracker and my Buddy Reads tracker. So that is those are all of the annual spreads that I am planning on doing for 2020. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about anything, or if you have a 2020 plan with me that is up already, please share that down below in the comments. And other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya!